Hi, everyone. This is Mrs. Bay here for First Chapter Friday. Today, we're going to be looking at the book Where the Heart Is, written by Joe Knowles. And this book came highly recommended, saying that it is a book that a lot of kids can find things that they relate to. So, hopefully, you will enjoy the first chapter and possibly keep it on your list of books so that when you finish one book, you have a book that you're interested in to go to next. I know that's one of the things that I do because I will never remember chaptered books. I will never remember titles of books. So if I hear something I'm interested in, then I write it down and keep it so that I can go back and look and then make my book selection from there. Here is First Chapter Friday, Where the Heart Is. Chapter 1. I was 6 years old when I got engaged to Micah Sasaski. It was during coffee hour at church when the adults were busy in the fellowship hall, eating banana bread and gossiping and letting the kids run wild on the front lawn. We were playing sardines. I found Micah under the lilac bushes by the steps, and we huddled together, waiting to be found. We held hands and giggled quietly each time we heard footsteps and heavy breathing as someone ran past. We waited like that for a long time. And then, out of the blue, Micah whispered, "I love you, Rachel." His breath smelled like bananas. He squeezed my hand, and my small heart thumped in my chest as if it were a hummingbird trapped inside. "Do you want to marry me?" he asked. "Yes," I said without hesitation. He was my first and best friend, and my favorite neighbor. We liked almost all the same games and even the same food. Marriage made perfect sense. "Move over," Nadia Collins said, interrupting our engagement. Micah and I smiled at each other and squished even closer together. The lilac bushes were in full bloom, and the smell of the blossoms engulfed us each time someone jostled the branches. Cole Jenkins found us next, then a few others, and then the game was over. We all climbed out from under the bushes, but before we went back inside, Micah gave me a lilac and kissed me on the cheek. Then we found our parents and told them the news. They laughed and said, "How sweet," as if it were a silly joke. Micah got mad and stomped off, which only made the grown-ups laugh harder. I found Micah back under the lilac bushes, red-faced. "They don't know anything," I told him. "We'll always be together," he said. "Right?" I climbed under the branches and sat next to him and held his hand again. "Always," I said. We sat like that until our parents came and found us and apologized for being insensitive. Even though that was 6 years ago, sometimes one of our parents will bring it up, asking us in a jokey kind of way how the wedding plans are going. Micah always blushes and smiles awkwardly, and maybe even a little hopefully. But more and more, I am filled with guilt, because deep down, as much as I love Micah, I know it will never happen. "Rachel, wake up right now," my sister yells, pounding on my door. I sit up and feel dizzy. A familiar panic rises in my chest. I can't believe I'm going to be late for school again. Then I remember, today is the first day of summer. Not only that, it's my 13th birthday. Ivy bangs on my door again. "There's no school," I yell back. "Remember, summer? Mom wants us for something else," she calls, "so get up." I bet she made me birthday pancakes. I sniff and smell something delicious. Maybe waffles. Outside my window, the leaves are bright green and the birds chirp extra loudly. It's like the whole outside woke up for summer vacation. Better yet, for my birthday. Warm, sunny days stretch out before me. No more getting up early to catch the bus. No more homework. No more math class with Mr. Drake, who hates me because I never show my work, and he thinks I cheat because I still get the right answers. No more worries. Plus, I'm a teenager now. I can get more babysitting jobs. I can save money for a better bike than the crappy one my dad scavenged from the dump when I was 8. I can. "Rachel, would you get up?" Ivy yells through my door again. "The new neighbors are here." I peer through my window. Across the street, a moving truck pulls into the long driveway where construction has been going on all year. The house was built on a long, sloping hill in the field that we've used for sledding every winter, and riding my old pony Rainbow in the summer. It was designed to look like a rustic barn, but we peeked through the windows after the workers went home one night, and there was nothing rustic about it inside. There were fancy marble counters in the kitchen, and the bathrooms are like the ones you only see on TV, with glass bowls for sinks instead of regular white porcelain ones. The floors are so polished. They showed the reflection of the windows as well as our heads when we peeked through the glass. Wow, I remember Micah saying the first time we looked in. They must be loaded, Ivy said. Why on earth would they move here? I asked. They were a mystery, and the whole neighborhood was speculating about who these people could be and where they might come from. Behind the house, they built a real barn with stables, several little sheds, and what looked like a chicken coop. They seemed to be planning on having lots of animals, which Ivy was very excited about. Micah and I made up a whole story about the types of animals they'd have. We decided the new neighbors were rare animal collectors and they'd have tigers and zebras and things. But that got Ivy all upset, so we stopped. The cat meows from the front foot of my bed when I get up and step into my slippers. George hates being woken up as much as I do. I'm coming, I yell. I pull my hair into a ponytail. Go back to sleep, I tell George. It's summer. He walks in a circle and settles down again in his little nest in the squares of sunlight coming through my window. Downstairs, the sweet smell from the kitchen is even stronger. Go back up and get dressed, Rachel, my mom says, pushing me away before I can go into the kitchen to see what she's made. She has on a red apron that's covered in flour. There's some on her face, too. We need to take a pie over to welcome the new neighbors, and it's almost finished. I want you dressed so we can all go over together to introduce ourselves. Pie? So that's what was baking? Not my birthday breakfast? I hope she didn't make an extra pie for my birthday cake. Pie is good, but not for birthdays. I wanted tall, layered cake with thick frosting and 14 candles because you always have to have one to grow on. Licking syrupy fruit off a candle just isn't the same as licking off frosting. I wait a minute before going back upstairs. I look around for the familiar birthday banner my mom made, which she hangs from the ceiling on the morning of our birthdays. It isn't in the usual place above the kitchen table. Maybe because it's a special year, we'll eat in the dining room, which we only use to celebrate big holidays. The rest of the time, the dining room table is piled with mail and newspapers and bills and homework and lots of other junk. Go on, my mom says, still not wishing me a happy birthday. I turn away from her slowly and take my time walking back to the stairs, just to give her a chance to remember. Hustle your bun, she yells at me. Sheesh. From my bedroom window, I watch the new owner's boss the movers around. They don't seem very promising. They look too old to have kids our age, which is fine with me because I don't really feel like having to make new friends with someone who lives in a house like that. Just walking around, peeking in the windows, and being that close to something so nice made me feel crappy about my holey sneakers and cut off shorts. Micah said maybe they'd have older kids and I'd get their hand me downs. Whoop-dee-doo. It's bad enough I have to wear things family friends hand down to us or cheap clothes my mom finds at the local thrift store. I get itchy just thinking about it. Micah says I sound like a snob when I complain. I tell him I'm just a clean freak, and he says that's what washing machines are for, which is a good point. But still, I'll never like wearing other people's old clothes. They have all these memories in them that I don't know about. Sometimes I wonder what interesting places they've been to, but mostly I try not to think about it. Rachel and Ivy, get down here, my mom yells up the stairs. I pull on my old shorts and a t-shirt and go to the bathroom to brush my teeth, but Ivy is already inside. I bang on the door, even though that'll probably make her stay in extra long. Mom's calling us, I urge through the door. Get moving. She finally opens the door and shines her clean teeth at me. All yours, sucker. I step in and get accosted by the smell of her poop. You are gross, I scream. I hold my breath, grab my toothbrush, and run downstairs to use the other bathroom. Can we please get going? My mom says when I finish brushing my teeth. I glare at Ivy again. So gross, I say again. You're 8 years old, not 5. Everyone poops, she says, even 8-year-olds. Don't be disgusting, my mom says. Now let's go. We follow her outside and down the driveway. Even from across the street, we can hear the new neighbors still giving orders to the movers, who roll furniture out of a massive moving truck. We weave through the parked trucks up the newly paved driveway. It smells like burning tar in the hot morning sun. Everything over here smells new. Hello, my mom calls, stepping toward the neighbors. The wife turns around. She looks like she's in her 60s or so. She's so tan that the creases and the wrinkles in her face look like someone made them a dark brown pen. Made them with a dark brown pen. Like she spent so much time in the sun, her skin has turned to a leather. We're your new neighbors from across the street, my mom says to the lady. These are my kids, Rachel and Ivy. I'm Lydia Gartner. The lady smiles, and her face lines deepen and darken even more. Well, hello, she says, all friendly. It's so nice to meet you. We baked you a pie, my mom says, holding it out. Peaches aren't quite in season yet, so I hope you like strawberry rhubarb. So thoughtful of you. The lady takes the pie and smells it. My name's Greer Townsend, and my husband over there is Bev. Bev, honey, come meet the new neighbors. Bev seems like a strange name for a man, and I wonder what it's short for. He has the same kind of tanned and wrinkly leather face as Greer. He's wearing bright green shorts that have little white boats embroidered on them and a matching white polo shirt. He looks like a guy you might see playing golf on TV. Greer has on a similar outfit, only a skirt, not shorts. It's pink, and I think it's a tennis skirt with the kind with shorts underneath. Greer and Bev seem old but sporty, just like the rest of their stuff. Their clothes look brand new. They haven't even been washed yet or sweated in. How do you do? Bev asks, reaching for my mother's hand. I didn't know people said, how do you do in real life? He has a funny accent, like his voice is still being haunted by his rich English ancestors or something. Later, I'll learn that he says things like bath instead of bath and laugh instead of laugh, the way a sheep might if a sheep could talk. Ivy holds out her hand and Bev shakes it, then mine. He squeezes pretty hard for an old man. His hand is soft and smooth, not like my parents' hands, which are rough from gardening and stacking wood and all the other outdoor work we all do. You have a nice weather for moving day, my mom says. Is there anything we can help you with? Greer nods distractedly and motions for a mover to be careful with a tiny wooden bookcase. No, no, that's what the movers are for, dear, Greer says. But thank you. Well, we'll leave you to it. Welcome to the neighborhood. My mom is acting so awkward, like she doesn't know how to behave around rich people. Thank you for the pie, Bev says, turning to walk up the driveway. We'll have you over for drinks when we're settled in, Greer adds. That would be lovely, my mom motions for us to go. Snobs, I say when we cross the road to our side. Don't say that, my mom says. Just because people are wealthy doesn't make them snobs. They took away our sledding hill, I say. Oh, Rachel, it was never ours. We were lucky to be able to use it as long as we did. Ivy runs ahead, but my mom and I walk slowly up the driveway with the weeds growing through the cracked pavement. Our old farmhouse is red, and the paint is peeling. Some of the shutters hang a little off kilter. Even though we don't really live on a farm, my grandfather made a sign for the house, just like real farms have. My mom decided on the name Bittersweet Farm when she and my dad moved in, before Ivy and I were born. She had taken a walk on the property with my father and discovered Bittersweet running all along the stone wall that ran next to the road and to find the property line years ago when it was still a working farm, and the stone wall kept the cows and sheep from getting out. Every fall, she cuts branches and makes bittersweet wreaths to hang on the walls throughout the house. The vines are full of bright yellow shells that open up when they dry to reveal a red berry inside. My mom says they make our drafty old house feel cheerful and cold on cold, dark days. Whenever we come home from someplace, the sign welcomes us and reminds us that life isn't perfect. Just like my mom always says, it's a little bitter and a little sweet. We stop midway up the driveway to look at the sign, which also needs painting. My mom puts her hand on my shoulder. Happy first day of summer, she says, squeezing, but not happy birthday. In fact, the whole day, no one says a word about me turning 13. And I finally realize that they've forgotten. Micah always says there's no such thing as lucky or unlucky numbers, but 13 sure feels pretty unlucky so far.